You picked up your phone this morning before you even got out of bed, maybe before you opened your eyes. You told yourself it would just be a second, a quick scan, nothing serious, just checking, and then 15 minutes disappeared and you still aren't sure what you were even looking for? That habit feels modern. It feels like a you problem, a this generation problem, something about screens and algorithms and too much technology. But the real answer is far stranger, because the compulsion you feel when your phone buzzes is not a glitch in your psychology. It is your psychology, running exactly as designed, pointed at the wrong target. Your brain is not broken. It is ancient. And ancient brains were not built for a world that never stops sending signals. Here is what is actually happening. Deep inside your brain, nestled in a region called the striatum, there is a system that has been running for hundreds of millions of years. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz spent decades mapping it. What he found changed the way scientists understood motivation entirely. The system does not reward you for getting something good. It rewards you for the possibility that something good might be coming. Read that again. Not the reward. The anticipation of the reward. When Schultz's team gave monkeys a predictable reward at a predictable time, the dopamine response was moderate, expected, calm. But when the reward became unpredictable, when the monkey could not be sure if this time would be the time something good appeared, the dopamine response spiked dramatically. The anticipation became more powerful than the reward itself. Your brain runs this same ancient circuit every time you look at your phone. Not because app designers are evil, because your ancestors who survived were the ones who could not stop scanning. Think about what their world looked like. Tall grass on every side, movement somewhere to the left, a sound that might be prey, might be a predator, might be nothing. Your ancestor who ignored that flicker of possibility died. Your ancestor who could not stop themselves from checking, from looking, from staying alert to every potential signal in the environment survived. They passed that restlessness to you. Anthropologist Helen Fisher calls this the seeking drive. It is older than language, older than tools. It is the engine underneath all human curiosity, all exploration, all hunting, all search behavior. And for almost all of human history, it kept you alive. The problem is that it cannot tell the difference between a rustle in the grass and a notification badge. Both are unresolved signals. Both carry the possibility of something important. Your striatum treats them identically. The red circle on an app icon is, to your deepest neural architecture, the same category of object as movement at the edge of your vision. Something might be there. You have to check. You cannot not check. This is not weakness. This is the most highly selected for trait in your entire evolutionary history. And then the app designers found it. BJ Fogg, a behavioral scientist at Stanford who has spent years mapping how habits form and how technology exploits them, has been clear about the mechanism. Variable reward schedules, the same psychological structure that makes gambling addictive, are baked into almost every social platform you use. You don't know if the next scroll will show you something wonderful or something dull. You don't know if the next check will bring a message or silence. That uncertainty is not an accident. It is the product. Sometimes there is something there. A reply that matters. A photo that makes you laugh. News you actually needed. Your brain registers this as the ancient system confirming itself. See? It says, you were right to check. Something was there. Now check again. Something might be there again. The interval between checks narrows. The threshold for uncertainty drops. What once required actual danger to trigger now fires at a buzz, a banner, a tiny sound from across the room. Psychologist B.F. Skinner demonstrated in the 1950s that variable ratio reinforcement, the reward that comes unpredictably after an unpredictable number of attempts, produces the most persistent and compulsive behavior in any animal he studied. Pigeons pecking levers, rats pressing buttons, humans scrolling feeds. The behavior does not stop when the reward fails to appear. It intensifies. Because maybe the next one will be it. Maybe this check. Maybe this one. So you are not weak. You are not failing at discipline. You are a magnificently designed pattern-seeking creature operating in an environment specifically engineered to exploit the best survival tool your lineage ever produced. That is the honest account of what is happening. But there is a layer beneath even this. Your phone is not just triggering the seeking drive. It is also activating something deeper, something that predates mammals, the need to know where you stand. For most of human history, survival was not just about food and predators. It was about other people. Your place in the group determined whether you ate, whether you were protected, whether your children survived. Social information was survival information. A shift in someone's expression toward you, a change in how the group responded when you spoke, whether others were including you or excluding you. This was data as critical as any threat in the external environment. Your brain evolved an entire architecture for monitoring this. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman, whose research at UCLA has focused on the social brain, argues that the default mode network, the neural system that activates when your mind is at rest, is almost entirely dedicated to thinking about other people. Not problems, not plans, people. What they think of you, what they feel, what they might do. This is why social media is neurologically different from every other kind of media that came before it. Television is a one-way signal. A book is a one-way signal. They do not know you are there. They do not respond to you. They are not measuring how the group feels about you right now, in real time. Your phone does. Every like is a piece of social data. Every comment is a signal about your standing. Every view count, every follower number, every reply or non-reply carries the weight of ancient social information. Your brain cannot help processing it with the same seriousness your ancestors used to track who was on their side and who was pulling away. And crucially, like the notification badge, like the movement in the grass, the information is incomplete until you check. That is the engine running underneath the screen. The seeking drive firing at signals that never fully resolve. The social monitoring system measuring a group that never stops changing. Both ancient systems, both running exactly as they should, both aimed at a device that delivers exactly enough reward, exactly often enough to keep them running indefinitely. You have probably noticed the feeling that something is slightly off when you don't have your phone. Not urgency exactly, more like a low-level hum, a sense that something might be happening that you are not seeing, that the world is moving and you are not tracking it. That feeling is not anxiety about technology. It is your deep nervous system doing what it has always done, scanning for unresolved signals, waiting for the information it was designed to collect. The cruelest part is that checking rarely satisfies it. Neuroscientist Kent Berridge, whose research on the wanting versus liking systems in the brain has reframed how scientists understand desire, found that the seeking system and the reward system are neurologically separate. Wanting something and liking what you get are handled by different circuits. The wanting circuit is powerful and persistent. The liking circuit is brief and drops off fast. You check. If there is something there, the satisfaction is mild and fades quickly. If there is nothing, the wanting system does not turn off. It recalibrates. Maybe the next check. So you check again. This is why you can scroll for 40 minutes and put the phone down feeling faintly worse than when you picked it up, but not be able to articulate why. The wanting system ran hard. The liking system barely fired. You got the behavior without the resolution. And the cycle begins again. Knowing this does not automatically fix it. That would be too simple. But knowing it changes something. Because when you pick up your phone tomorrow morning, before your eyes are open, the same way your ancestors turned toward movement in the grass, you are doing something that kept your lineage alive across hundreds of thousands of years. You are scanning for signals in an uncertain world. The world just got very good at sending them. Tonight, when you set your phone face down and feel the hum of unresolved signals, that feeling has a name. It is not addiction. It is not weakness. It is your ancient brain, still scanning, still seeking, still doing the one thing it was always built to do. It is just looking in the wrong grass.